Hare Krishna. We are reading from the book Teachings of Queen Kunti. These are very special prayers which Kunti Devi spoke to Krishna when he was leaving Hastinapur. And they are from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8. Currently, we are on text 24. We have been reading the purport since yesterday by Srila Prabhupada, and we'll continue with the purport. We'll just read the translation. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poison cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. So Kunti Maharani has been saying how Krishna saved them through all the dangers. Krishna was always with them. And we were hearing yesterday, we were reading the part about Draupadi and the Asat Sabha, the assembly where attempt was made to humiliate her. So reading on, previously Karna had been insulted during Draupadi's Swayamvar. In those days, a very qualified princess would select her own husband in a ceremony called Swayamvar. In modern America, of course, any girl may select a husband as she likes. Although, for a common girl, this is actually not very good. But even in those times, an uncommon, highly qualified girl who knew how to select a good husband was given the chance to do so. Even this, however, was limited by very strict conditions. Draupadi's father, for example, placed a fish on the ceiling, and he stipulated that in order to qualify to marry his daughter, a prince had to shoot an arrow and pierce the eye of the fish without directly seeing the fish, but seeing only its reflection in a pot of water on the floor. When these conditions were declared, many princes came to compete, for responding to a challenge is a principle for a Kshatriya, a heroic leader. So Prabhupada is trying to explain to us why was Karan, so envious, and he wanted to disrobe Draupadi. Because in Draupadi, there was the Swayamvar was held for her, where she could have the opportunity to choose who she could marry, because she was capable of making a choice, but also but such a strict test was given that somebody had to pierce the arrow into the eye of the fish, which is on the ceiling, but he had to shoot it looking at the reflection, not at the fish directly. So in the assembly for Draupadi Swayamvar, Karna was present. Draupadi's real purpose was to accept Arjuna as her husband, but Karna was there. And she knew that if he competed, Arjuna would not be able to succeed. At that time, it was not known that Karna was a Kshatriya. So at that time, Karna was known, I think, as the son of the charioteer or something like that. The people didn't know he was Kunti's son. And she didn't want to marry Karan. She wanted to marry Arjuna. He was born the son of Kunti before her marriage, but that was a secret. Karan had been maintained by a carpenter, and therefore he was known as a Shudra, a member of the lowest occupational division of society. Draupadi took advantage of this by saying, in this assembly, only Kshatriyas may compete. I do not want any carpenter to come here and take part in the competition. In this way, Karan was excluded. So she didn't want to marry him. So she used this point that I don't want to marry a carpenter, only a Kshatriya. So Karan regarded this as a great insult, and therefore when Draupadi was lost in the game, he was the first to come forward. He was Duryodhana's great friend, and he said, now we want to see the naked beauty of Draupadi. Present at that meeting were elderly persons like Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, and Dronacharya. But they did not protest. They did not say, what is this? You're going to strip a lady naked in this assembly? Because they did not protest, they are described as Asat Sabhayaha, an assembly of uncultured men. Only an uncultured man wants to see a woman naked, although nowadays that has become fashionable. According to the Vedic culture, a woman is not supposed to be naked before anyone except her husband. Therefore, because these men wanted to see Draupadi naked in that great assembly, they were all rascals. The word Sat means gentle and Asat means rude. Therefore, Kunti Devi prays to Lord Krishna, you saved Draupadi in that assembly of rude men. When the Kurus were taking away Draupadi's sari to see her naked, Krishna supplied more and more cloth for the sari. And therefore, they could not come to the end of it. Finally, with heaps of cloth stacked in the room, they became tired and realized she would never be naked. They could understand it is impossible. So Krishna saved Draupadi. At first, Draupadi had tried to hold on to her sari, but what could she do? After all, she was a woman, and the Kurus were trying to strip her naked. So she cried and prayed to Krishna, save my honor. But she also tried to save herself by holding on to her sari. Then she thought, it is impossible to save my honor in this way. And she let go and simply raised her arms and prayed, Krishna, if you like, you can save me. Thus the Lord responded to her prayers. So complete surrender. Draupadi completely surrendered herself to Krishna. Therefore, it is not very good to try to save oneself. Rather, one should simply depend on Krishna. Krishna, if you save me, that is all right. Otherwise, kill me. You may do as you like. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Manasa Deha Geha Yokichu More Arpiluntu Yapade Nanda Kishore. My dear Lord, whatever I have in my possession, I surrender unto you. And what do I have? I have this body and mind, and I have a little home and my wife and children. But whatever I have, I surrender everything unto you. This is full surrender, surrendering everything unto the Lord. A devotee of Krishna surrenders unto Krishna without reservation, and therefore he's called a kinchana. The word kinchana refers to something one reserves for oneself. And a kinchana means that one does not keep anything for oneself. So we can understand in our heart, Of course, although actually one should surrender in this way in the material world, one should not artificially imitate those who are fully surrendered. According to the example set by Rupa Goswami, whatever possession one has, one should give 50% for Krishna and 25% for one's relatives, who will also expect something, and one should keep 25% for personal emergencies. So we cannot imitate the devotees. Draupadi, she is a fully surrendered soul to Krishna. Have we gotten that kind of surrender? That's something we have to question. So, but we should not artificially imitate. No, then we have to act accordingly. Prabhupada is giving the example of Srila Rupa Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, the leader of the Goswamis. When he retired, before he went to Vrindavan, then he was very, very rich. He had a lot of wealth. So when he retired, what did he do? 50% to Krishna consciousness activities, 25% for relatives, and 25% he kept for himself in case there is personal emergency. So he divided his money like that. And when his brother Sanatan Goswami, another great devotee, was arrested, Rupa Goswami spent everything. This is full surrender. So Rupa Goswami kept 25%, but when his brother Sanatan Goswami also wanted to retire and was unable to, in fact, the Nawab, he imprisoned Sanatan Goswami. So Sanatan Goswami had to somehow or the other come out of the prison. So that time, this money that was kept aside was used So these are fully surrendered souls, fully surrendered. Draupadi, similarly, Draupadi fully surrendered to Krishna without trying to save herself. And then unlimited yards of cloth were supplied, and the Kurus could not see her naked. So this is complete surrender. Complete surrender. So does it mean that I don't do anything, or Krishna will put food in my mouth? No, but am I on that level? Is my surrender to Krishna on that level? Is my love for Krishna already revived? So we can't imitate. We can't imitate, as Prabhupada is saying. We have to do whatever we need to do and depend on Krishna for the result. Whatever we are supposed to do, whatever duties we are supposed to do, we do them with a desire to please Krishna. And then do to the best of our ability and leave the result to Krishna. Krishna, as you please. And surrender, our surrender begins by chanting the holy name. Chanting the holy name, that's how we begin our surrender. So we need to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, hear about Krishna, hearing and chanting, and gradually, everything will follow. So we'll stop here for today. I don't know if there are any comments. No, then we'll stop here. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.